Welcome, everybody, to the very 71st episode of the Sales Tales podcast. It is the Commodore D2 Diamond Dave Doherty.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, everybody. And your host, Josh Shirley, as well. Dave, do you want to hear some terrible emails?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you have some?
I absolutely have several from today. So, all right, here's one from Jenny. I think she sells cleaning services.
Yeah.
So the first words in it are, "Hey, Sandler, powered by Kaufman Group team." All right, what happens right there?
It's one of those old merge things.
Yes, this person's not working too hard to personalize.
Insert contact here. Like, it's not even AI run amok. It's just, it's all bad.
Yeah.
There's no,
it's not.
So anyway, obviously we're not trying to target anybody like spam.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just taking your company name and placing it in front of "hey"
and adding team
and then adding team. Right. So, the building next door, is like,
"Hey, Joe's insurance
Allo fiber team. Like,
not good.
Yeah, it's not like so. And then she goes on to say, "I wanted to see if you saw my previous email." So now we'll get into one of these today. She's saying that she wanted me to. She's talking about what she wants. Like, I wanted to see this. I wanted to see. This is what I want. I've got a few of these.
I wanted to see. Yeah, if you saw.
Yeah, I wanted to see.
Yeah.
Here's another one from Alexander. "Hello there. With your permission, I would like to send you a screenshot of errors from your website." Awesome. I didn't know I needed that.
And it's not me even.
Right.
I don't even work on the website.
Exactly. So it has, nothing to do with my role. And it's all about what you would like to do. So, Dave, today we're going to cover 7 don'ts and nevers for email, right? So what are the email best practices? Or actually, today you could call this email worst practices. So email mistakes that are costing you deals, costing you money.
Well, it's certainly not helping.
Right.
Right. Like, an email is, we still have to send emails. Fair, Josh?
Sure.
Like, we still have to, just like we still have to make phone calls. It's still part of the mix, but if we do it poorly, it certainly doesn't help us. So
that's right.
Where can we focus to make it effective?
One of the biggest questions I get is from sales reps is, how can I make my emails more effective at prospecting?
Yeah.
And I think there is a way to do that. And I think if you send a lot of emails and you want to have a higher conversion, more success with emails, I think this is a good episode for you. Hopefully you hear some things on here that you're not doing, but hopefully you also get a few things out of it that you can go and a few changes that you can make. I would say that you also have to realize that trying to get your emails to work better at getting new conversations for most people is kind of like using Jell-O as a shovel. Like, it's not exactly, on its own, Dave, wouldn't you say that as a tool, email is not exactly an acquisition tool?
No, and I'm not sure if we're really being honest with ourselves, it ever was. Like, our belief was in the beginning, and you and I go back a little bit to the early days of email. It was going to be that thing. Like, I can reach more people faster. I can give them information. I can do all the things, right? We used to queue up email campaigns, thousands of emails going out, and it never really was, but it is, I will say this, along with all the other channels, it is a critical part of your prospecting chain. And so it's like, can I optimize my call? Can I optimize my email? Can I optimize the way I use LinkedIn? Can I optimize the way I text? Like, can I do
Right.
all those things to make sure it's as good as it can be, as effective as it can be? I think email definitely sits in that box.
If we were talking about how to make a cake, we'd have to include flour. Like you need it.
Yes.
But if you just had flour, you're gonna have a suck cake. Like it's
Yeah.
not gonna be.
It's yeah, just flour alone or no
Yeah.
flour. Like
No flour. Yeah. I mean,
I substitute
now you can do
baking soda
flourless.
for oof.
These days, it's not right. I mean, eggs, flour, like think about it as like an essential ingredient to what you're making. But to Dave's point, I totally agree with you, by the way. I think in a sequence of things, email can be awesome. But like, let's talk about this, but let's just keep in mind as we go along that email should be one of the things among a greater constellation of activities you are performing to put new people in your pipeline and start new conversation.
Absolutely.
Here we go, Dave. Let's get email right on this episode of Sales Tales. All right, Dave. So let me tell you my first experience with an email. So I was in college, and this is going to date me a little bit here. It's my first day of college, my first class in college. I'm sitting there. Professor takes us through. Here's your syllabus. We're going to have a shorter class today. Just as this is, I just want you to know what you're doing. By the way, I do have office hours available from whenever to whenever. And if you want, you can email me. And he said,
Okay.
and then he starts saying strange crap. He was like, yeah, my email address is first letter, last name at tamu.edu. And I was like, what the hell did he just say? I looked at the person next to me and I was like, because email had been out for a few years. I just went to a poor high school and we didn't have a computer lab. I never learned anything about email.
What like, is tamu.edu?
What is he saying? What are the words? Shamu? Is this about a whale? Does he have a whale that I need? This is geology.
Yeah, that's great.
Right? So I get back to my dorm. I have to go to the front of the class. I'm like, can you tell me the last thing again? He's like, the at symbol. I was like, what is... So now all of a sudden we're incorporating parts of the keyboard I am not familiar with. I go to my dorm room, and that night I was like, hey man, my professor gave me an email address. And he's like, yeah. I was like, what do I do? He's like, everybody has an email address. Like, I know I just met you and I would later become like one of your best friends in your life. But for the moment, like, you're a dumbass. And like, how do you not know what this is? And I was like, all right, show me. And he does. And I said, okay, I'm going to send you an email as a test. And so I made a test email and it said test. And so I sat at the computer and I sent it, and I got up and I was like, all right, I just sent you an email. Let me know when you get it. And he's like, I got it. It's like, whoa. He's like, yeah, it's like instant. Like you get it right away. And like, so I don't know, man. Emails were not that new when I was in. So it's kind of me being.
It's been a journey.
It's been a journey. So email has been around, and as it's come about, I think a lot of people have interpreted email as, and this is where salespeople get stuck, Dave, as the only way that I can correspond with people, not just about new business initiatives and trying to start a new conversation, but a lot of times we revert back to it after we've had some success on the phone. Like it's the only way we can communicate with each other.
Yes. And so, yeah, a lot of that is, though, it's driven by like our own stuff. Like people won't take my call. People are too busy to call anymore. You can't get a hold of them. They'll only respond to email. But I agree with you. You have to think about it holistically.
Yeah. And bad email practices have definitely cost me a lot of money. And they've sabotaged opportunities that I've had. And I've done all these things. So we are going to focus on email worst practices, email fails. So our first email fail is using too many words. So here's a best practice to kind of flip it around. Don't write more than 75 words to a person you don't know.
Yeah. 75 words is good. It's that 7,500 word kind of minimum, right?
7,500 word would definitely be a long one.
Yeah, it'd be a long one. No, 75 to 100 words.
There you go.
Yes. You want to keep it brief. People don't want to read a bunch of words. And I think we're vulnerable there as sellers because we want to make sure they know why we're sending an email. So we want to include a lot of words.
Yeah. Or
and like explain ourselves.
Spoiler alert for later, include a reason why, explain too much about why we're reaching out. Other than the fact that we want to start a new conversation. Doesn't seem to be enough for a lot of people. And we have to add a lot of sort of unneeded context.
Yeah. I mean, do people really read all that is a question.
Right. And the answer is no.
No, they look at it and they're exhausted. They open the email and are immediately exhausted. Like there's, I don't have time to read all this.
Yeah. And look, there's some positives about email. For email at the moment, there's no algorithm for email. Like not really. Like there is some that how it gets filed. There's an algorithm that decides for the person you're trying to reach, whether your email is something that they should focus on later or focus on now. There's a little of that. But for the most part, the most recent email will be at the top. That's still how it works. So it is a good way to reach somebody new and to get their attention. And we have so little time to really make that work. So here's what I would say about it. If it looks long, it's wrong. Keep it short. You're adding work to somebody's plate, right? Just like you said, Dave, it's work. It's additional. I'm getting work. You're adding work for me to do. And if it looks like work, I'm not going to do it.
And it's not even work that you asked for. It's like we're kind of coming into their world. It's like, you're going to have to earn this. You're going to have to work through this.
Yeah.
People just
if you're a data person, and some of you are, and you're looking for a target, keep it under 75 words. If you don't know the person, if you do know the person, you can get away with about 150. And we pull our data from a lot of different places. Harvard Business Review. We pull it from Gartner. We pull it from HubSpot, all over the place.
Yep.
So that's where a lot of these things, these best practices and worst practices are coming from. So number one, keep it tight. Number two goes with number one. Let's not overwhelm them with attachments and information. So if you think into the Sandler process, Dave, we have to do what before we can present?
We need to ask questions and understand how we can help them.
Exactly. We've got to have pain. We need to understand decision-making process. We got to understand investment. And think of attaching a bunch of information about your company or with news or updates that you think are helpful to the person. Think about attaching all that stuff. Think about that stuff as a presentation.
Right. Yeah, and we're just dumping information on them. If we're two things are going on. One, we're overwhelming them with information they didn't ask for, and may not be relevant. And two, well, most email platforms you're sending into businesses, they're going to screen you out right away if you're putting attachments in. Links to video, PDF attachments, any of that kind of stuff is likely going to get you put into the spam filter. Just as a matter of course, right?
That's right. And we talked about that little algorithm earlier where it decides what's relevant to you and what's not. Typically, and a lot of the ones I was reading at the top of the episode are things I found in my spam folder. And it's there because they had attachments and pictures and things that my email goes, wait a minute, you don't know the person and they're showing you stuff. That's wrong. So I would also say, though, that a sort of milder version of this where you might have met somebody and you're attempting to sort of re-engage them. Attachments are still bad because you're still presenting too early. Let's use email to just get to the next step, right? All we want to keep the ask that we're making really small and get them to the next phase of the conversation. So that's number two.
Yeah. And along those lines, if you think about it, it's just a proxy for this conversation I want to have with you.
That's right.
Like, so if I'm, let's imagine I'm putting this email together. I'm in front of you and we're having this conversation. What are you going to be doing during that conversation? You're going to be like, let me get out our brochures and start reading to you.
Exactly.
Or are you going to stop and pause and say, hey, listen, I don't know if we can help you.
Yeah.
Would you be open to having a conversation? You're going to be in the same spot in an email. So just
Agreed.
Put yourself in that mindset when you're putting it together.
I think you're giving us right now, Dave, a great mindset to take, not only with this second email fail, but with all the things that we're talking about today, which is, if you wouldn't do it in person, don't do it in an email. You wouldn't start off with a 2,000 word introduction about yourself and your company. You wouldn't hand them a bunch of marketing collateral before you've even met them. So we wouldn't want to do that in the case.
And you certainly wouldn't open up and go, hi, Kaufman Group by Sandler
powered
team,
by, yes,
when I'm staring you in the face.
Yeah.
You'd be like, what, are you losing your mind? Like,
yeah. So you don't sound like a real person. Hello, David Doherty, powered by, oh my God, man, vice president of, yeah, there's a lot of so let's keep it personable. Let's keep it customized. You do a little research before you talk to the person. So if we overwhelm them with attachments and information we're essentially presenting too soon, we're turning them off, because we might even be presenting the wrong things. That's number 3 goes right in hand with number 2. You wouldn't do this in person either. You wouldn't start a conversation by saying, Dave, here's what I want you to do, right? Like that's not going to go well in your first sales call.
Not typically going to work in your favor.
Yeah. I'd like to schedule some time with you, or, like, this is what I want you to do.
I have no reason to know. Like, yes, I mean, you're telling me what to do. I have no context or not agreed to do it. I don't even know if it makes sense for me to say yes to you.
Yeah, I can even create some not okayness sometimes like that. And another version of this same thing is to open up with a question that I don't really have permission to ask, right? Like, is it okay if I schedule some time, throw some time on your calendar? Or have you seen the last few reviews on health grades for your clinic? Oh my God, like now, right? So it's kind of like rolling up to you in the parking lot and being like,
yeah, roll down the window. Hey.
Yeah.
Hey, roll down your window.
Yeah. And then yelling something out like, hey man, you drive a Toyota Pathfinder? Oh my God. Yeah. What? Like, how do you know that? Right? Like, it's
freaking me
out. So if I open too much with what I want, I'm going to turn you off, because it feels like work. And a good best practice here to counter the worst practice is to open with them. So I noticed your team has been bringing on a lot of new SDRs. Or recently, I noticed you were featured on a podcast about X, Y, and Z. I listened to it, and I wanted you to know that people love to talk about themselves, and they'd much rather that. Now I know that you've kind of triangulated a little bit, right? Like, it's not information about your company that's bad, right? Like with the Google reviews or health grades information. It's like, hey, this is public information that anyone would know if they were paying attention to you.
Right.
And it's stuff that you probably want other people to know, right? That's the difference when we're sharing information about them is what do they want people to know? And if I'm a consultant that's working with people and I notice they're hiring a certain kind of a person, that might be something that I notice about them and they might appreciate hearing first. If I can be relevant, I can earn your attention. Open with them, not what you want.
Yeah, and I like your thinking. Just do a little bit of research. It's not even that, there were times it was hard. It's not hard at all now.
Right.
There's no reason for you not to have had some relevance other than you're just in a hurry to send out a bunch of emails. You can send out a bunch of generic emails and get very little response, or you can take your time and make it a little more specific and get a higher open rate, higher response, higher engagement.
Right. Right. So opening with something about them that creates some kind of context that helps understand why I'm reaching out, but then being really specific about what I'm going to do is what's next. So number 3 is open with them, but it has to come along with the ride, on the ride with number 4, which is being vague about the ask. In other words, email fail number 4 is when we're too vague about what we're asking them to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I see a lot of emails that I get forwarded from sales reps that I'm trying to help that are pretty much okay, but then they end with something like, would it be okay if I drop by for an hour to discuss this? What?
No.
Or
I don't want to see you.
Or just saying it'd be great to connect sometime, which is even more vague than that.
Yes.
Like, we have to be specific. There's 2 pieces to this one here, right? So being vague creates a little anxiety. They don't know how long they're going to spend with me. They don't exactly know what I want from them. And so that's going to raise some of their emotional defenses. And a lot of times, even if they do meet with you, they're going to be more guarded. So the way to counter this is to not only be specific, but to be relevant to the situation. Like, I don't know you, and you're not going to spend an hour and a half, or be willing to engage in person a lot of times with somebody you don't know. So what I typically tell salespeople, and this is an easy one to remember, is that if your ask is too big, it ain't fitting through the door. What I mean by that is, like, whether you're asking for something like an hour, which is too much at this point in your relationship or the rapport building process, or if you're not clear about what you want, they're going to make up something that you're asking for that you're really not. So typically I would say that, think about it. Is it come to a webinar? Let me know if it's okay for me to continue to reach out. Talk to me for 2 or 3 minutes to see if there's a need for a longer meeting.
Yeah.
Are all examples of things that can fit inside of the door, right? Like, this is where the relationship is, right?
Yes. And just staying on this focus is, if you're spending time understanding, why am I reaching out to you at all? Like, number one, are you somebody who I typically work with, like in other business? Like, are you that person? And if you are that person, have I done anything to make sure that the reason I'm calling you, because if you have these kinds of issues, these kinds of challenges, that I can help you? And you've spent, like, you get a little bit more in their world. Like you said, I heard you on this podcast and you mentioned you're having challenges in this area. This is an area we help in. I listened to that. I'm connecting that dot. But even then, if you do those 2 things and it's like, oh yeah, we're in the target here. Like, these are people that I've helped. He or she's got these kind of issues. This is the reason I'm reaching out. But even then, to your point, the ask needs to be appropriate. Given all these things, would it make sense for you and I to just talk for 10, 15 minutes to see if there's a reason, a fit here? There's a reason for us to schedule more time potentially, or it's a proportionate ask to the
proportionate ask. Yeah. Well said. Yeah. That's great. And so a couple of examples of things that I see where people are committing this breach in proper, email protocol, this little email fail. Number 1 example, let me know your thoughts. Number 2, open to connecting ? Right. Those are things that I've ended emails with and been confused on why somebody didn't engage with me. Well, what does that even mean? What am I doing? So a lot of these things are related, Dave. We've gone through 4 so far. Number 1, stay under the 75-word rule for somebody you don't know.
Yeah.
Number 2, let's stop overwhelming them with basically presentations, right? Like overwhelming in attachments and presentations over email are bad. Number 3, stop opening with what you want, right? Absolutely, you want something. Give them some context first, and make the thing that the action that you're asking them to take. Number 4, be specific about what that is. Let's not be vague about what we're asking, and let's not ask for something that's too much as well. So we'll come back and we'll do the other 3 after the break. All right, man. Doing okay? Any feedback, adjustments?
No, it's good.
Okay.
It's good. It's always hard to talk about emails, but it's a good topic.
Yeah. It's lately people have been engaging more with, like, this is your daughter's helping me with some of this stuff, but like engaging more with specific tactical things.
Yeah, makes sense.
All right. Okay, Dave, we're back with number 5. The number 5 email fail is ignoring the subject line. And it's not that people don't include it. It's the failure to realize that the thing that they're going to see in order to decide whether to open your email up is the subject line. And I bet you'd would not be surprised to learn that what we spend most of our time on is what's in the email itself.
For sure. If we spend any time at all, like, writing, crafting this, but subject lines, I mean, that's the first thing you see, right?
Yeah.
Like it's the headline in the inbox. So what's a bad subject line look like?
Oh, something way too long. Having a lot of times, like, I think this was a fad for a while, but like when they never responded to anything to you first, like you're responding to them, that move. Not following the subject line. I think the biggest atrocity that people are kind of making here is that they just don't spend a proportional amount of time working on it, right? So here's what's good. If it's short, curiosity driven, relevant, typically HubSpot, Harvard Business Review, Gartner, they typically say, if you want little tactics here, that having questions on the email can in the subject line that kind of create at least some level of FOMO, like, Dave, 5 new things happening at competitor ? Right. So some kind of thing. Like, we kind of go back to the SDR example, hiring SDRs ? So a lot of these kinds of things that like are short, curiosity driven, and relevant to the situation can help. Also, numbers can typically be, 3 things that we find in whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like some numbers, ? Those kinds of things that help people align to something relevant to them.
Yeah. I've seen some other like using their name in the subject line.
Yeah.
Like, something about you said earlier, like read your post, or maybe they did launch a new product, or you saw they're hiring. So you'd be like, XYZ company, and in our case, Sandler, ramping up your SDRs, so it's like, the more specific to your point you can be, like, there's a reason. Am I putting something in that subject line that demonstrate that there's an actual reason I'm reaching out, not willy-nilly, like you just happen to be on a list. You've done something to connect the dots.
Right.
Referrals are good for that. Like, when you get a referral from somebody, it's good for that. Like, Josh Shirley, friend of Steve.
Right.
And then they're going to open it because they know that name, and inside there, you're going to just lay out why you're reaching out.
Yeah, I've got a cadence that I use with referrals, and you're absolutely right. I put the referrer name in there. So if Angie is introducing me to Mark, then I'll say to Mark, Angie asked me to reach out.
That's it.
right? So something like that relevant to them. It includes the name of the person. And I think you mentioned, the podcast example, saw your podcast. Dave saw your podcast,
Exactly.
saw the talk, right? Those kinds of things that are specific, but they have to be in the subject line. And we've got to put a lot more thought into that than we think, because
Yes.
without it, they'll never open the email.
And you keep saying it. If we're making it about them, then that extends to the subject line.
Right. Has to talk about them. So number 6, this is a quick one, just sending at crowded times. It's a little shocking, but a lot of promotional emails still go out at the top and bottom of the hour, meaning at 9 a.m. and at 9:30 a.m., there are still a lot of marketing emails going from one place to the prospect you're trying to reach. So this is an easy one. So the best practice would be not to send it at those times. So if you're scheduling emails, go for 9:12, 4:04, at times that are not necessarily directly on the hour.
Yeah, makes sense.
Makes sense.
Not to compete with all the other stuff they're inevitably going to get. Yeah.
And this is another one this final one, number 7, is one that I think might be a little out of your comfort zone. It may challenge us out of the ones that we've heard so far today. But overusing attribution, and I actually mean that in a couple of ways. So I always tell salespeople, let marketing worry about attribution, right?
Mm-hmm.
If there's some new way to reach prospects out there that you're not using, somebody in your marketing department will tell you. So when I say overuse attribution, number 1, it relates back to something you said earlier. We waste too many words, too many precious words in emails that are meant to generate context, create a little interest, and then end with something very specific in terms of the reason that, or the action that I'd like them to take to try to help them. Like wasting words that are supposed to be dedicated to those things on here's where I found you, and too much like explaining on why I'm reaching out other than to help you, right? Like it's okay to use words to create context that's about that person, but too much explaining to attribute why I'm reaching out. Well, I don't think you remember, but we spoke last year and had a phone call. Right. Like let's get to the point here.
Well, if you're gonna go there, it's more like just assume that they were. I'm always like, hey, I'm glad we connected at the trade show, and then I'm off to the races.
Right.
Like I'm just gonna go. They probably don't remember, so I'm not gonna go through all this rigmarole. But I'm gonna go in with the assumption that our conversation was good enough that you remember me.
Yeah,
it's one of those kind of things. Like, glad we chatted at the booth, and they're like, "What do you?" I don't. But okay, I guess I did.
We used to, so when I was at trade shows, what we used to do is just like everybody else, you capture the information, scan a badge, and information goes into the CRM. What we always had along for the ride was some personal note. So a good example of that was at a conference in Philadelphia, I met a guy who had broken his arm. So I asked the inside person who was working with us to record that fact. And obviously I forgot about it. But then when it came time to do my follow-up, he and I bumped fists, I remember, because he just couldn't shake hands. And so I either opened it or closed it with fist bumps.
Nice.
And I think that small reference to fist bumps really kind of put me over the edge. And
there you go. Nice. But again, so that's probably a good way to think about things. Like you did some things that made it relevant to him and memorable, like it connected, right? Like in all the stuff that we've been talking about are we doing that? Are we replicating that fist bump, I guess?
Totally. And overusing attribution is replaying every moment of the day back to start this.
They're not going to read it. Yeah.
They're not going to read it. It's too much work. So overusing attribution, that's one way. The other way is thinking too hard about what specific email worked on one person at one moment in time. And I think marketers do a great job in attribution. They want to help you in sales. That's their job. As a guy with a marketing background, I guarantee you that's 50% of the conversation they're having today is about how do we send better leads and what can we let them worry about that. Like if we overanalyze, we get into analysis paralysis and we stop doing the behaviors of prospecting. Get out there and spend some time coming up, like reinvest the attribution time that you spend on, well, what exactly is working into writing a great subject line that really is going to make this entire thing more openable, or like,
would you
think
agree
about these best practices?
You know, you make me think about something. This is a conversation I have had for decades, literally with sellers. No matter where we were in the marketing support journey along the way, it's like your role as a seller, you're part of your marketing's part of the process.
Yeah.
It's one link in the chain, right?
Yeah.
And if we're sitting back, just letting that be a dependency, right? That's one thing. The other thing is if you're in a situation where you can work with your marketing people, like help them, like I'm having these conversations and these are the kind of, this has been working. And conversely, like, have that work together on some of this messaging too. Like marketers can get over here or get into marketing land and sellers can be over here and it ends up being just kind of really disconnected.
Right. Yeah. Having, regular times to talk about it, if you don't already, are huge wins to create efficiency and create, and invest that time in, doing some of those marketing related things. And so those are our 7, Dave. So starting way back at number 1, never use too many words. Number 2, don't overwhelm with attachments, information, and email presentations. Number 3, don't open with what you want. Number 4, don't be vague about what you're asking for either, right? So those 2 are the pieces to balance in your email, number 3 and 4. And number 5, you got to get them to read it. So don't ignore the subject line.
Yes.
Number 6, let's avoid sending at crowded times. And number 7, we see a lot of email fails come because we spend too much time either attributing a reason for the reach out or spending too much time on doing marketing's job of attribution and not enough time prospecting.
Yep.
So typically in an episode like this, somebody listening might think to themselves, well, okay, those are all related facts. And I think they'll help me with my email, but what should I do? What is an example? How would you pull all of that together? And this is a podcast and you're listening to it or you're watching it. And we will share it with you. So if you got all the way through the episode and you really want an example of what a good email will look like, send us your email. Contact us. There's a way to contact us anywhere you find this podcast. Contact us and we will send you an email example. We'll look at your company and we'll send it to you as if we were sending an email prospecting message to you. And then you can take and reverse engineer that for yourself. Nice. We also have been known to give out good AI prompts for email that'll help. Like if you can use the right prompt, you can get a great template to work with there too, but you got to know what to ask for and hopefully this episode has given you a few parameters you can use in your quest to do that. So good one, Dave. We'll see them all again next time right here on Sales Tales. Bye, everybody.